Alrighty, guys, what is up? My name is John, as you all know. Hopefully, I don't know. And today I'm bringing you my deck profile for my first place deck in the Dragon Ball Super Oceanic Championship, the very first one in Australia, and I'm super happy that I actually ended up winning the whole entire event. I don't know how I won the event. I do know how I won the event. I have to be somewhat decent at the game, but yeah, I'm very happy I won, and I'm obviously just gonna use this opportunity, pretty hyped up right now. I'm pretty hyped after actually winning the event, so I thought I'd do a deck profile of the deck I used to come first place. And just hope you guys enjoy it. Really, I'm still honestly shocked that I ended up taking the thing home and just winning the whole tournament. So. There was a lot of people. There was about 168 people, and this is like the top place I'm at. That's, the Ultimate Warrior, even though 16 people got this, but it's okay. And yeah, I had a lot of fun, a lot of difficult matches, and I don't know what else to say. It was awesome. It was super fun being on stream, super fun having everyone watching me. Pretty cool that some of the American guys came watching me play, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and of course, shout out to the boys at Cardtastic Collectibles. And let's do this. So obviously, the leader card I used, Son Goku SS3, and also sorry for my shitty setup. I only have a webcam, so this is what we're gonna make do. So in my opinion, this is probably the best leader in the game. So on its front side, as we all know, it does permanent skill. You're capped at 6 energy. Can't charge more than 6 energy. Active main. On your first in the game, so only time you can use it, you place a card from your hand in the drop area, then you choose 2 of your life and charge them as energy. You can only use this when you have no energy. This is insane, because if you're not playing against this card, if you're not playing a mirror match, or against this leader, you either you are 2 turns ahead if you're going first, because when you're on 3 energy, your opponent's on 1, and if you're going second, you're still a turn ahead anyway, so yeah, this card's just stupid. It's a stupid effect. And when you awaken, you draw 2. But on the back side, sorry. Awaken, what is it? Hide and Evolution. Who cares about the name? Ah. When this card attacks, you draw a card like standard for most leaders. But the thing that is stupid about this card is that at the end of your turn, untap 3 of your energy. That's stupid. That's just straight up really broken. Um, the problem is that it's any energy, even though this is a blue deck, a blue control deck. The fact that this is untapped any energy is just ridiculous. The scariest thing about playing against this guy is that you don't exactly know what he's going to do until the end of game 1. So the leader's just nuts. But yeah. So like I said, I do run the blue control variant of SS3, the one that was first shown on PPG, and then the one that won the ARG in America. It's my version of it. I took inspiration from both of them and added my own stuff on it. Added my own ideas. So yeah, just hopefully you guys like my take on it and explain some of the. I'll try and rush through the basic stuff, since I don't want you here all day. But yeah, I'll just show you what I had. So my 1-drops were 4 Majin Boos and 4 Chronoas. So essentially, these 2 cards do the exact same thing. When you play them, you draw 1 card. The big differences being obviously Majin Blue is 5k and is a blue card, which is good if you need to charge his energy, which I tend to do. And then Chronoa difference is there. One, she's a black card. She's got 3k power, so not as strong as Majin Buu, but that's fine. And again, what I was gonna say, yeah, this is not main board to counter Shigesh. This is main board because I essentially run 8 copies of Majin Buu, and I did originally have this card as Goasu when I had a more God variant deck, and then Goasu just honestly sucks, and some of the cards in the deck weren't very good at the time, since the first list I based this off was the PPG list, and yeah, just simply some gods really suck, and I don't have as many gods as most people, even though Konoha is a god herself. But yeah, both of these cards are in the deck simply just to draw 1 card. 1 card each, you play them, you draw a card. Really good, really good. Next we have probably a mandatory card. This is your only way to awaken this. One of the only ways to awaken your deck. Your Tapion. You're only playing this once per game. The rest of your Tapion are going straight into your energy. Very rarely you play the second Tapion, but what this card does is that when you play him, you get to take up to 2 of your life, which is ridiculous, since though with SS3, you always start on 6. And this is a 3 cost, so obviously turn 1, You're either playing some one drops or the next card I'll show you, which is Yajirobe. You're either playing that on your first turn, and the second turn, I wouldn't say 9 out of 10 times. Some matchups you don't want to awaken on your second turn, but a large majority of the time, especially in the mirror, you're gonna play this. You're gonna awaken, and the cool thing about it too is that you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place it on the top of the deck if it's 5 energy cost or less. This is insane because you get to clear something off the board. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to clear anything because your opponent, that card goes on top of your opponent's deck, and then if they want to get value out of that card again, they have to play it again. So this is really good, especially if you're playing the mirror match where your opponent's also playing Tapion. If your opponent goes first and you defend yourself at 5 life, probably playing the free hands or whatnot, you get to play this and put their Tapion on the top of the deck, making their next draw useless, which is insane. Super good card, and yeah, you do mulligan for this card. You want to see this card in your opening hand, so because if you don't see this and your opponent's not playing aggro, you're not gonna have fun, 100%. I'll get that out of the way too. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So next card we have, next one of the weak ones. Oh, the spoilers of my deck. We've got Yajirobe. I originally had the Blocker Barrier Piccolo, like the PPG list, but then the I can't remember the guy who won the ARG. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but he ran 4 Yajirobe, and that is a good idea because Yajirobe is only a 2 cost, and when you play Yajirobe, because this deck, it has good removal, but a lot of it's high cost removal. Oh, not a lot of it, but some the easy removal is high cost. This, you just play it, and when you see your opponent has to like flip this card back to hand, or they have to use clear on it, border clear, and otherwise I'm gonna leave my Yajirobe there, and he's gonna swing with. My opponent's gonna swing with the big threats or just little threats, like let's just say for example Bergamo, Free Kill. What's the other one called? The Gohan, the one where you swing, you draw 2. That this card just lets you clear that, and there's not much your opponent can do about it because it's only a 2-drop, and you don't really want to invest too much into killing this, but you gain tons of value out of this. I've even had times where my opponents have swung, I've used Yajirobe, and then I've like comboed over it to keep it alive, so I can reuse it next turn. So because this deck is pretty easy to combo with. A lot of your cards are 10k, and because you untap 3, everything's free. So yeah, Yajirobe, really good card. Really, just too good. Too good. Next, we have probably one of the most... it's very, very good card, Legendary Flute. So what Legendary Flute does, you just choose one battle card that's in play that costs 3 energy or less, and you bounce it back to its owner's hand. And if it's your battle card, you get to draw a card. This is insane because if you're getting stalled, you get Infinite Cycle on your Majin Boos or your... what's the other one called? Cronoa. You get Infinite Cycle, not infinite, but you essentially would play your Majin Buu or Cronoa, you draw one, you flip it back to hand, draw another one, play it again, draw another one. I wouldn't do that all the time, because the best card to flip back to hand is your Son Gohan, the Freehan. Because when you play that, you defend yourself with that. On your turn, you swing with it, you flip it back to hand, and you get to keep on defending yourself and drawing cards. So that combo is insane. The big problem with Flute is that, as awesome as it is, if you draw this card late game, you're not going to have fun. This is like set to objection. Like, if you draw this, and you can't use it, it's just a dead card in your hand. A lot of the time, if I start off with Flute in my hand, I will sometimes pitch this or charge it as energy. As amazing this card is, and for how powerful this card is, you don't want to see it in your hand, like, a late game. Because if you're getting, like, swung in really hard, and your opponent, and you have this in your hand, you usually lose, because you can't combo a Flute. That's the one downside of Flute, but other than that, the card is absurd. Next things we have 2 Mafubas and 2 Whis' Coercions. Now, these are the only negates in the deck, excluding Yajirobe because he's a blocker. The reason why I run 2 and 2, this is like the PPG list. Whis' Coercion just blocks a free attack, and then Mafuba is really good. I understand why people don't mainboard this. The reason why, sorry about that. Alright, the reason why Mafuba is insane, and I don't understand why people don't mainboard this card. This card, if you're playing mono blue control SS3, this card should always be mainboard, because this lets you clear your opponent's threats unexpectedly. So I'll compare it to Yajirobe. This and Yajirobe both cost 2 mana to play, but the difference is that you're playing Yajirobe on your turn, and your opponent's like, oh, okay, I see the Yajirobe. Okay, how do I get around this? Where with this, they'll be like, cool, I'm gonna swing into Bergamo, and I'm talking about the mirror a lot because I kept the mirror in mind in this, or just anything. So it could be I'll use Bergamo as an example. in the mirror, your opponent will swing with their Bergamo, you'll Mafubar their Bergamo, and they're like, shit, I don't have my Bergamo anymore. Then my final turn, I'd play my Bergamo, and it's like, oh, wait a second, what just happened? But yeah, this is a really good momentum card, because this card alone can just waste your opponent's turn. Because they'll play a 4 or 5 drop, you Mafubar, and it's like, cool, I don't have to worry about that, and I can just gain board control instantly, which is very nice. I do have more copies of these in my sideboard, but for main board it's 2 and 2 because aggro decks, you want Oasis Coercion. Decks that just drop a ton of bombs. Mafubar. Mafubar's awesome. Very good card. Alright, moving along. I think this is the last. I'll do all 4 of these cards at once. Or these 3 cards at once. So these are essentially your combo cards, the cards you're going to be comboing the most defensively with. I have got 4 Gohans, 4 Kabuto Kais, and then 4 Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. Well, the lighting's pretty bad. Sorry. But anyway, if you're playing a blue SS3 at all, this card's a must-have because it's essentially an extra super combo in your deck, and because you always have energy open, it's guaranteed super combo. So this one's least amount to explain. Next we have Freehan again, blue leader. It's a very good defensive card because in the aggro decks or just in general, your opponents will swing. Like, cool, you know a combo, cool, I'll combo that. Oh, you're attacking that, I'll combo that. So you get to build your board on your opponent's turn, and because again you always have free energy, this card's free. And the cool thing about it too is that I think my favorite part about this deck is that this card lets you be aggressive. You can build up your board with you play your Tapion, and then your opponent sometimes will swing to just draw a card off Tapion. It's like, okay, cool, I'm going to combo this to keep Tapion alive because now I have 2 15Ks on the field, and they're attacking, and I'll get 3. So you get tons of value out of this, and this is like one of the few control decks that actually does pretty well if you get aggro, which is it's pretty cool because I'm honestly an aggro player. But yeah, Freehan, free. Who would have thought? Anyway, next, this is Kabuto Kai. It's not boost attack Piccolo. This is mainly I tested this after I saw the PPG list, and this card is really good. It's better than Piccolo, in my opinion. I always used to run Piccolo. This is my first time running this. Since this is a more controlled deck, on your turn, it's just a Piccolo. But on your opponent's turn, this is like in the PPG video. They said this is essentially a 20k combo. And another secret value about this saves you from chain attack. This card can, I wouldn't say save you from chain attack Zeno, but it kind of, your opponent will combo with a super combo or something. They'll combo with something, try and draw cards, try and just use stuff. All right, cool. I'm going to bounce some cards back into your hand so you also lose value out of chain attack Zeno. This is probably really, I'm thinking about this now. It's actually a pretty bad example, but that's just an example. But really good time to use this is when your opponent plays the 3-drop Gohan, when they have 4 or less, they draw 2 cards. If they attack with something else first and mill their hand, you can bounce something back to your hand and back to their hand, so they have to combo again to get value out of the Gohan. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. Again, it's personal preference if you want to know this over the Piccolo. I do really like this in this particular deck because it helps you last extra turns if you were playing Piccolo, you'd probably die, which is really good. Alrighty, next we're finally getting into something that's different. I'll put these cards first because these are the more standard cards, and I'll put my own spice at the end. So the first batch of cards we have are 3 Bergamos and 3 Beeruses. So this is like how the whole build started. Bergamo and Beerus are nuts. Bergamo, I think, is better than Beerus because, one, it's a 4-drop, you can play it for free. And what Bergamo does is that he just ruins whatever your opponent wants to do. As long as, if you have him in play and your opponent can't kill him, you're probably going to win the game because for whatever reason, a lot of people aren't mainboarding removal. And this is a 20k blocker. Oh, not a 20k blocker, but when it's in rest mode, your opponent has to attack it. And every time it gets attacked, he gains 5,000 power. So it's pretty hard for people to dump onto this because a lot of cards' average power is probably, a lot of the stronger cards' average power, like the Beerus, for example, which this glare is not helping, but anyway. 25k, and this becomes 25k, and it goes 30k the more it gets attacked. And your opponent will dump like their entire hand into this, and you'll just be like, cool, Kabuto Kai, combo with Gohans, combo with whatever, or you negate, or you Mafuba. This is like, I think it is the best card in the deck, just because of how hard it destroys your opponent. Because when you have 2 of these in play, your opponent can't attack. The Bergamo lock is complete, If your opponent doesn't have board clear, they'll most likely scoop when you have two of these in rest mode because all their battle cards can't attack, and it's too hard for them to combo over it with their leader card. And again, how I was saying in the mirror, when you Mafu by this, it's insane because you're Mafu by it. It can't use its effects next turn. The turn that it comes off the Mafu bar, it goes back into active mode. So you don't have to worry about Bagama for 2 turns. Mafu buying Bagama is insane. Next we have Beerus here. Beerus is one of your bombs late game. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this card. I'll go into why. Also, I'll go into why these both aren't 4-ofs. I have the last ones in the sideboard, but this card's insane because every time you swing, you get a lot of value out of it. For starters, 25k double strike. No one wants to take that late game. And your opponent has to discard 6 energy worth of cards. That's really good. When it was first announced, everyone knew it was really good, even though the ruling on it can be weird, but that never comes up because, people have to charge energy, and this is a 5-drop after all, and that late in the game, it's very unlikely that your opponent won't have 6 energy worth of battle cards in play, so 100% they're always discarding. This card's super good into the aggressive decks late game because a lot of the aggro decks cards aren't that high energy values except for Zeno. And because it's like 3 2s and 1s, you usually get 3 cards off his auto, and then they have to defend for double strike, which is really good. The reason why I don't run 3 of this Embergum is so I can make room for some other stuff in the deck. And because this deck draws so many cards, you usually see these cards when you need it, which is, very nice. I've got the one Overarm card is a Scientist Fu. Simple draw 2. I run only 2 just to keep things consistent. Yeah, it's just an alright card. It's alright, it's a really good card. 25k double strike, plus 2, it's really good. Helps you come back, or just helps you close the games, just lets you draw 2 cards, and that's pot of greed right there. Alright, next we have got 6 cards left in the main board, so I'll go over this one first. Beerus, the only other board clear I have in the deck is the Yajirobe. Beerus is good because when you want to play Beerus, you're at your 5 energy, it just kills anything. Simple effect. 20k double strike, does damage. This deck needed board clear. The Piccolo, the Dash Pack Piccolo with critical is good, but the fact that this can kill anything, whereas Piccolo in this deck is capped to killing things at 6 energy or less, and most of the time you'll be playing it and you can only be killing 5 energy or less. This is better, and critical isn't too much of a deal in this deck because you're just attacking a shit ton anyway. So having critical isn't too big of a deal. It doesn't really save you. I'd prefer the double strike because that's kill threatening there. Like I think most people would rather take a critical hitting them from 5 to 4 instead of a double strike hitting them from 5 to 3. I know that's weird what I'm saying, but double strike is just better than critical in this particular deck because this deck doesn't really care too much about how many cards are in your opponent's hands because you just always get over it. And now finally, the Spice. For those of you who don't know, Vegeta is my favorite character in Dragon Ball. So the Vegeta Spice we have is at all costs Vegeta, and this card, Prince of Speed, so good. This Prince of Speed is insane. I'm very surprised that neither of the lists had this card, because this card is essentially just a Fu that when you play it, it stays in play. You draw 2, and that's it. Super power. You essentially get to run 4 Fu by running this in the deck. You don't want to run more because the other cards do have. This is a powerful initial effect, but every other card, like the Bagamo and Beerus, have longer lasting value. The longer they stay on the board for, the more value they get. But when you just play Vegeta, that's it. You just get his initial value, and that's it. But still, it is insane. I'd expect, after people seeing me play it, I 100% expect people to be running this card more because it helps you in the mirror because you always have draw advantage and another threat in play, and it helps you come back from hand destruction decks because you're just drawing 2. Like you have turns where you drop this and Fu, and you draw 4 cards, and you have two double strikers that have over 20k power in play. If this card had 5k more power, definitely 3 of, but a 2 of is super good because you have to make room for the other stuff, and because you have Fu, you don't need to run 3 of this and 2 of Fu because you just have enough draw power as is in the deck anyway. Lastly, this card is awesome. This card shouldn't work, but it does. I'll explain why. I'll explain why I think that. This card is Trollaz. So when you play this card, you draw a card and you untap an energy. That's its initial effect. That on its own is pretty good. It's another way of filtering through your deck. And it's 20k. It's a 5k combo power, which is awesome. So it helps you get over certain things. But the thing that's weird, I sideboarded this card out a lot, but almost every time I played it, it won me the game. Almost. There was a time I used this active main, and lost, but I'll get into that now. So what the active main does is that you take 2 cards from your life, and you gain 3,000 power for every energy you have. So when you can initially play this on 4 energy and use this effect, you'd never do that. Unless you somehow miss Tapion on your 6 life and then you need to awaken. That never happened to me at all. This card was just played as a 20k 3 drop that let me draw a card because obviously it untaps 1, so it's essentially a 3 drop. The rest of the active main is that if you have 5 or more energy, you first get to kill something and he gains triple strike. Surprisingly enough, I had games where I should have lost, but this card won me the game. A perfect example is that I was in my quarter-final match. I was playing against the Miro Bergamo SS3, and my opponent had a Bergamo in play, and I played both of these, and I kept them both alive because I knew I had to use this effect to win the game. I knew my opponent had no negates. He was on 3 life, and he had a Bergamo in play. So I used my active main. I killed my opponent even forgot what this card did after I played it. So I killed Bergamo, and this is when I had 6 energy. Used his effect, drew 2 cards from my life, put me down to 1. Killed Bergamo, and I had 6 energy, so he becomes 38k, triple strike, which I'm pretty sure is the highest triple strike value in the game, just without comboing. And then I'd swing with this, I'd dump everything. And keep in mind, I only had 3 cards left in my deck in this situation, and if I didn't kill him this turn, I would have lost. I comboed and drew with super combos. I left 1 card in my deck. I got comboed everything in my hand. Since I had all 6 energy, and this card was in play, I was able to get up to, I think, 108k, so 108 and 3 zeros. And my opponent couldn't combo over that. And he was like, I knew he had no negates because his 2 Lisa's coercions were in energy, and then the other 2 were in drop area or warp. And he just lost. I should have lost that game, but this card won it. That was just an example. And another example is that I had this in play, and my opponent had a ton of blockers. He was playing SS3 Veggies, ton of blockers. I had this in play. He was on 3 life. I used my auto skill, and I overwhelmed Fu, Shout, and Mystery. My opponent couldn't activate any blockers or anything, and this card won me again. So it feels awesome when you win this card as well. It's one of those cards, it's like, you play it, use this effect, you win the game. Well, not necessarily win the game. I did use it once, and my opponent did have a negate. Miscalculated, it's fine. But I just love the artwork of this card. It's cool. Can cheese you. It's a cheese card. It's whatever. Alright, so that's the main board. The sideboard, I've got 5 cards in my sideboard. Oh, 5 cards. I've got 15 cards, sorry. These are just 5 1-ofs. Extra Prince of Speed. Good. Extra Beerus and Bergamo. I sided Beerus more into matchups where they were playing aggro, which is weird. Because it was aggro that I knew I could live and then punish them hardcore late game. Beerus was probably, out of these 5 cards, Beerus was least sideboarded in. Bergamo and Luis's Coercion were sided in the most because a lot of aggro decks. But Mafu Bar came in handy as well, and Prince of Speed was really good too. So just able to get extra 1-ofs. Next cards we have in the sideboard, we have Banish Fu. Just simple, lets you overwhelm and kill one. I didn't side this in. I only sideboarded this in once because I don't have Beerus in the main, and Yajirobe and Muffabah do enough damage as it is already. I don't think this card's really good though. Just in this particular deck, it's not required. I only sided in versus SS4 GT because I needed to clear GT, and this is the easiest way to do it and the fastest way to do it because GT SS4, oofed. And then you play double Bergamo, and then you auto win that matchup, which is troll. Next, this card is really good. Dragon Fist Son Goku. You swim with this, it has barrier, double strike, 6 energy. When you swim with this, you untap 2 energy and bounce the card back to your opponent's hand, ignoring barrier. This is really good into the 8 matchup, other than the fact that this thing gets crushable, which is very annoying. But it's still really good into the 8 matchup. When I first tested this, I wanted to put it in the side, but I'm happy I didn't put it in the sideboard because there are other plays when you initially play on the turn you play this card, it's not very good because it taps you out. Yes, you do swing and untap 2, but you invested your larger portion of energy to playing this, and this card isn't as good as Beerus when you play it, because with Beerus at least, I know what I'm saying is really weird, but Beerus has the same power as this and does more destructive damage. On the turn you play Beerus, you get more value on the turn you play this, but every other turn that SS3 stays in play, it is the highest value card in the game, because it gives you 2 free energy every turn. So that's my weird perspective on that. But and it's also only really good into the mirror, which I didn't honestly. Early on in the day when I played the mirror, I did side it in more. I did still side it in later, but I didn't put as much focus into playing it. But it's still really powerful. It's still really powerful. I don't think it's necessary in the sideboard. That's just my personal opinion. But some people can be like, would take Prince of Speed out of main board too. But Prince of Speed's better, 100%. Vegeta is better than Goku, confirmed. But yeah, in combination with that, so these last two cards I have in the sideboard are the MVP sideboard cards, the cards that came in clutch the most. Again, like I said before, through Shattered Mystery, when you played this card over Realm 10, I'd take out I'd always, when I sideboarded this into the mirror, only Stall Mirror, not into GT or any fast decks. This is why it's in the side, because it's only good into those longer lasting games. You'd play this, and you'd win the game. Every time I resolved this, I won the game. Because when you activate it, your opponent can't activate the super combos, negates, anything. It shuts your opponent down completely. So, yeah, and it's also 30k double strike, which is alright. In conjunction with Super Saiyan 3, if you have Super Saiyan 3 on your in play, then the following turn you can play this, and you keep your Super Saiyan 3 Goku alive. It's pretty good. It's very good, actually. It's insane. Because you get that extra 2 energy to combo with, and yeah, hard to get over that. And the last sideboard card I had was 3 Senzu Beans. A lot of people be like, why didn't I run this in main? I don't think it was necessary in the main board. Sometimes I wish I had it in main for game 1. I did lose a fair few. Early on I lost a lot of game 1s, and then I started actually playing well, which is good. This card wins you just the aggro matchup. When you're getting pounded every turn and your opponent's like dumping their entire hand, the fact that you force them to combo 5k more every time is just too good. Kind of wish I had a 4th slot Senzu Bean, but yeah, this is a pretty good card, I reckon. But yeah, that is it. That is my Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku deck list. I don't know how long this video went for. I presume it's like almost 20 minutes. My voice is like, I'm running out of steam. But that's it. Yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this deck list and perspective. Huge thanks to everyone for rocking up to the event. Huge thanks to everyone playing. I'm super happy that I was able to win, and I hope this little deck profile gave you some insights about how I just my list. I think I could have gone into more things, a bit more detail, but yes, just the only takeaway you need to have from this is that Prince of Speed's a good card. That's all you need to take away. Anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed this. Hopefully, I can keep on doing well, and yeah, if you guys like this, I guess. Sorry, the camera quality was low, but if you guys like this, feel free to chuck it a like, and I might do some more deck profiles in the future. I don't know. But anyway, guys, this is John signing out. Peace.